So Scorpio, hello and welcome. We are doing a reading to look at the next 30 days of your life. So this is a timeless reading. That means that it isn't only valid at the time of recording or uploading. Whenever you find this video, whether it is as soon as I upload it or whether it is 6 months later, a year later, we're looking at the next 30 days of your life. So shall we get straight into it and see what does the next 30 days have in store for you? We're starting with an oracle because it sets the foundation, and I just feel as if it gives us really good clarity as to what it is that you need to know. And Scorpio, the card that I have drawn for you to start off our reading is the card of realignment. So this is saying to you that the next 30 days of your life, you are going to find yourself going through a process of realignment. Across the bottom here, it says to you, feel the ebb and flow of life. So when I hear ebb and flow of life, immediately I know that we mustn't force. We mustn't try and do something. We mustn't try and force a situation or a circumstance to become or to do or to be something that it isn't. It's about just trusting and going with the flow. That is so important. Realignment, okay? Realignment makes the assumption that there is a misalignment. Realignment makes the assumption that things aren't quite where they need to be, and we need to realign so that everything's back on track. I'm hearing in my head right now from Spirit that we are at the time of recording this video, and I know I said it's timeless and it's not specific to this time frame or this time in the year, but we are now 3 months into the year at the time of recording this video. So I'm using the example or the analogy of setting New Year's resolutions. So Scorpio, you may have set a goal for yourself sometime in the past, whether it was a New Year's resolution or whether it was recently, it doesn't matter, but not too long ago, you created or set a goal for yourself. Whether it was here in your head or whether it was a tangible, it doesn't really matter. So you set a goal for yourself, and this is Spirit saying, maybe we need to do a check-in on how are we doing? Have we made progress? Have we achieved and accomplished the things that we need to? And how are we doing with that goal? Like, are you way off track? Are you completely on track? Where are you sitting? And this is why the next 30 days has the theme of realignment for you, because it's like just questioning yourself, just checking in with yourself, just verifying that you are where you need to be, and also understanding, especially because of this little key phrase across the bottom here, feel the ebb and flow of life. Because maybe if you determine that you're not where you need to be, if you determine that you're not reaching your goal, or that you've veered a little bit off course, okay, maybe it's Spirit saying to you, instead of trying to force the situation back to where it needs to be, it's about, okay, so this is where I am. How do I flow from this point back to where I need to be? So instead of trying to force the situation back into alignment, it's about, okay, so this is where I am. How do I get from here to where I need to be with flow? Okay, so I'm going to leave this card on the table here in front of me. We are going to reference it a lot, but what I want to do now that we have an idea of the theme of the next 30 days for you, Scorpio, I'm now grabbing a tarot deck and I'm giving it a shuffle. But we're asking questions specific to your theme now, and your theme being realignment. I want to know from Spirit through this tarot deck, what parts of your life are misaligned, what parts of your life are in need of realignment, and like just why, what, how. Why, what, how? Let's just ask all the questions. All right, so we're asking for Scorpio, we're asking what is it that needs realignment, and what do you need to know about this realignment? All right, cards are shuffled. Just trying to pick them up. Cut the deck. Okay, card number 1. Oh, look at that. So, card number 1 that I have for you, Scorpio, from the tarot is the High Priestess. So I've got my fan blowing, so it's blowing the card all over the place. So High Priestess. So Scorpio, she is the card of intuition. She is the card of understanding. But she is the card of saying that you have all the information that you need here within your heart and soul. It's not about looking for external information or validation. It's about trusting what it is that you have within your heart space. Okay, High Priestess is about the inner knowing. So this is saying to you that whatever it is that is in need of realignment in your life at the moment, this is Spirit saying, you know exactly what it is. Trust that first thought that came into your mind when you first heard me talking about the realignment. talking about that, what was the first thing that came into your mind? Trust that. That is the first thing that Spirit is saying with this gorgeous High Priestess card. I just love how she's got her kitty cat sitting here by the crescent moon, new opportunities and all of that. All right, so the next card that I'm drawing, oh, well, we're sticking with the major arcanas here. Okay, we're sticking with the major arcanas. And this is the card of the Hermit. So one of the things about the Hermit, okay, if we look at where he's standing, so he's reached this kind of pinnacle, right? And he's standing there, and he's standing completely on his own. His little light, his little lamp that he has, I mean, it's such a small little star that he's placed into his lantern. He can't see too far into the future. And he's standing at the top of this little mound. He has to step very carefully, because otherwise he's going to come a cropper. He's going to fall down. So the Hermit is the card of not focusing on too big of a picture, but keeping it small, one step at a time, one thing at a time. So, and it is also about, very much like our High Priestess, who I said to you was about intuition and trusting the self and finding the answers within. The Hermit is exactly the same. The Hermit is saying, don't go seeking the answers externally. Everything you need is here within yourself. So with regards to what needs realignment in your life, again, you know this. And remember, I was saying with the realignment is we don't want to force something to come back into space. We want to acknowledge where we are, acknowledge where we're supposed to be, acknowledge where we're going, and then say, right, how can I get there? What can I do that keeps me in the ebb and flow? What can I do that keeps me in the ebb and flow that will get me to where I need to be? And the way that you do it from the Hermit is saying one step at a time, Scorpio. One step at a time. If you try and do too much too quickly, I can promise you're going to fall down. And nobody wants to be falling down, right? We don't want to be doing that. So slow and steady, one step at a time, and you will get there. But it is about being honest with yourself. And I think that's why the High Priestess came up, because you've got to be honest with yourself as to where you are and how far off track are you, how far away from where you want to be are you, and the little steps that you're going to take. Because, you know, sometimes we feel that if we take little steps, sometimes we feel as if we only do one thing at a time, we feel as if we're never going to get there. We've got ourselves convinced that a lot of something, a lot of action is better. A lot equals more. But I don't think that's the case at all. I think this is Spirit saying to you, one little step at a time is the only thing that you need to be focusing on, and that will bring you back into alignment and help you to realign yourself. But in order to realign yourself, we need to feel the ebb and flow of life, because maybe there's a reason you're not where you're supposed to be. And Scorpio, maybe the reason is that where you're at, maybe you've avoided a challenge, maybe you've avoided a pitfall of some kind, but where you're at, maybe there's a shortcut to get to your destination. But understand that there's a reason why you are off track. There's a reason why you have veered further away from where you want or need to be. I'm just trying to make some space on the table here in front of me. I have got quite a few decks that I'm going to be working with. I just want to make some space. Right, the next card. The next card, in understanding where we need realignment in your life, Scorpio, we have the Four of Cups. So Four of Cups, just to put it very mildly, Four of Cups is the card of disinterest. It's the card of feeling meh. It's the card of feeling uninspired, unexciting, just feeling like, oh, what's the point? So maybe your life, maybe the things that you've been navigating over the last couple of weeks, maybe it's been really tough, okay? And maybe you haven't had any joy. Maybe it just feels as if it's this continuous, ongoing, repetitive struggle. And maybe it's just feeling it all a little bit too much for you. The Four of Cups is basically saying to you, first of all, and it's what I've been saying all along for you, Scorpio. Number one is to acknowledge where you're at, what you're feeling, and what's going on. All right? Because if you're not honest with yourself, if you cannot face that truth within yourself, it's almost like you're fighting a losing battle. So we need to face that truth. We need to be honest with ourselves around what it is we're doing, where we are, where we're supposed to be, and how we're feeling about the whole situation. And when we do that, the secrets that we will uncover, the truth that will come through for you, Scorpio, is actually going to be quite life-changing. And once you recognize and know the truth of what it is you're focusing on, what it is you're dealing with, and where you are, then it becomes easier to take the steps. Then it becomes easier to know what you need to do. But we have to bring our focus right down to one step, one little step at a time, understanding that we can't see very far into the future. Okay, the future that lies ahead of us, we can't see 6 weeks down the line or whatever. We need to focus on today, the here and the now. What am I doing now? What step am I taking this second, this minute, right now? And how is it going to bring me into realignment with my own truth? Okay, so it is challenging. And Four of Cups is basically saying that, you know what, you're just feeling like it's not going to be worth it. You're just feeling like you want to throw your hands up in the air and say, it's not worth it, I'm not going to do it. But the truth of the matter is, it is worth it. There's a reason why you're hearing this message right now. There's a reason why Spirit have brought you here and are saying to you, you know what, Scorpio, becoming in alignment with the self is crucially important. All right, let's take another oracle because I'm curious to see. So Scorpio, I do this because I'm not surprised. It is the card of transformation. And it says to you, like, I actually want to bring it closer. Like, look there. Be open to the change. Be open to the change, Scorpio. And I know it doesn't bode well with you. I know you would rather stay in the comfortable, stay in the familiar, but we need to understand that there is a reason why you are not where you want to be, or not where you hope to be, or not where you expect to be. There's a reason why there is this misalignment. There is a reason why you have to trust and believe in yourself and work only with yourself. There is a reason why you have to focus on one step at a time, and there is an absolute reason why you're feeling like it's just not worth it, because you needed to hit this space, you needed to reach this plateau in order to allow yourself the opportunity to transform and to change. Okay, so this transformation card really speaks volumes to me. You know, Scorpio, the only constant in life is change. The only guarantee in life is that you are going to pass away. Those are the only guarantees, right? The only constant in life is change. Every single day, every minute changes to another minute. Every second becomes another second. So even if you are standing still and doing nothing, evolution and time and stuff is happening. The world is turning. The earth is turning. Things are moving. So you either get on board with that or you get left behind. It's really, because change is happening, evolution is happening every single day. And it's important that you acknowledge where you are in relation to your transformation. You know, when you were born, you're not that same person, okay? The adult that you are today, the human, the big person, the grown-up that you are today is very different from the baby you were when you were born, because you transformed and you changed. So when you put it into that kind of context, surely transformation is not bad. Surely the fact that things don't always go according to plan and that we have to adapt and adjust and realign is not necessarily a bad thing. But sometimes we can become stubborn human beings. I'm not making any accusations, no judgments, no accusations, but sometimes we can become a little bit stubborn. Sometimes we can become a little bit stuck in our own thoughts that we don't allow ourselves to change. We don't want so much change that we don't even know from one day to the next who are we, okay? We don't want that, but we need to recognize and understand that there is the cycle of change and evolution. All right, I'm taking another tarot. So the question I'm asking here is, why is it so hard to change and to transform? And the card we have is the Nine of Wands. And if you look at our little fella here, he's a little bit battered and bruised. He's got an eye patch on. His little heart is all open and exposed. You know, he's not feeling fabulous. He's not feeling fabulous. The Nine of Wands is the card of feeling as if it's never going to be okay. So like we can talk about anxiety, we can talk about overwhelm. Okay, overwhelm I think is a really good word, because that's what the Nine of Wands is basically saying. It's basically saying you're trying your best, you're doing everything you possibly can, but sometimes you just feel as if it's never going to be okay. Sometimes you just feel as if it's never going to work, it's never going to materialize, it's never going to happen, and that can leave you feeling very despondent. So, why is change and transformation so difficult for you? Because you feel as if you've done so much, but yet you haven't transformed. You feel as if you've done so much work on yourself, on your circumstance, on your situation, and yet you're still struggling, and yet you're still finding things hard and difficult. So, this is what the Nine of Wands is saying, is that the reason why you're fighting against change and transformation is because it feels as if it's pointless. It feels as if it doesn't actually get you anywhere, it doesn't actually accomplish anything. And that is so not the truth. Okay, Scorpio? Um, if we look back, if you look at your life, and if you compare your life to 6 months ago, maybe you're not going to see that much transformation. We're talking personal transformation, okay? But if you look back a year, 5 years, 10 years, birth, okay, if you go right back there, you will see how much change and transformation you actually have been through. Now, if you take that same amount of change that you've already endured and let's push it forward into what's coming up in the future, you could actually at that point get excited, because if we follow that path of transformation that we've already started, the journey that we're already on, we can get excited to know that what lies ahead is actually going to be pretty fabulous. Pretty fabulous. All right, I am moving these tarot out of the way for a brief second. I have another tarot deck. Okay, so I'm giving the cards that have already come out a chance to come out again by using a completely different tarot deck. And the question I'm asking this time around from this tarot deck is how? I mean, it's as simple as that. We now understand that we need to realign, we need to change, we need to evolve, we need to transform. And it's easy to say what you need to do, but I'm sure you understand, Scorpio, that the hard part is how. Like, actually, and I know we got the Hermit card that says one step at a time, focus on the here and the now, don't focus on the big picture. And we understand the whole concept of taking one step. But Scorpio, the question I want to ask is, like, how do we accept the transformation? How do we go through the transformation? How do we trust the transformation? So just how do we realign, and how do we transform? Right, the cards are shuffled and the deck is cut. Oh, this is very, very interesting. So, as you can see, as clear as day, it is the card of separation. So, in traditional tarot, this is the Eight of Cups. And Eight of Cups is the card of separation. Sorry, I was like just having a moment. Eight of Cups is the card of recognizing where you belong and where you don't belong. It's the card of acknowledging when you've done enough and there is nothing more that you can do. So I bring back the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands is the card of feeling overwhelmed, feeling as if things are never going to be okay, feeling as if you've tried so hard, you've done so much, but you still feel as if it's never going to happen. This is the card of acknowledging that. This is the card of admitting to yourself that you've done absolutely everything that you can, and yet it's still not enough. And when we do that, when we are able to acknowledge this for ourselves, it makes the separation easier. What do we mean by separation, Scorpio? It means about, number one, acknowledging the one thing that you're struggling with, acknowledging the one thing that is causing you discomfort in your life at the moment, and then realizing I can't do anything about it. It is completely out of my hands. There is nothing more that I can do, and then giving yourself permission to walk away from that, to separate yourself from that, to separate yourself from the thing that is never going to allow you to transform and become what you need to, that's never going to allow you to realign with the ebb and flow of your own life. So what is keeping you stuck? What is keeping you trapped? What is keeping you unhappy? What is keeping you uncomfortable? And when we ask the question of how do we transform, how do we realign, it's by separation. It's by recognizing that it's time to walk away, to leave it be, and to walk away. All right, the next card I'm taking. This is so fun. So here we have the card 12 of intention. So this is the Knight of Wands in traditional tarot. And I mean, we can see movement in this card, right? The horse is moving, the person on the horse is moving, we can see the wind blowing in the hair, and the bow and arrow is pulled, ready to fire, ready to shoot off. There is intention here. There is intention to achieve, to go to a place, to become to a thing, and to do a thing. There is intention. So what this is, Scorpio, is Spirit saying to you that just choosing to walk away from a thing is maybe not going to give you what you need. We need to choose, recognize, acknowledge what is causing you pain and discomfort in your life. We need to recognize that we need to distance and separate ourselves from it. And then we need to set the intention and actually do it. Set the intention and actually do it. Follow through. Because I'm hearing from Spirit that you found yourself in this exact situation before. This is not your first time. Okay, this is not your first time. You have been in this exact position that you are right now. You have been here before. And what we've done is we've suppressed, we've buried, we've pretended like it's all okay, and we've carried on regardless. And now we find ourselves full circle back at this point again. So we need to realign. You need to realign. You need to realign with yourself, with your life purpose, with the things that bring happiness and joy into your life. You need to accept. You need to accept and allow transformation to take place. You know this. High Priestess, the card of intuition, the card of inner knowing. You know this. This is not new information to you. This is not like, oh my gosh, yes, you're speaking truth. You know this. You know this within yourself. But you also know that you have to tackle one thing at a time, one step at a time. And that you also know that the only person that you can rely on and the only person that you can trust is yourself. Okay? The only person that you can rely on and the only person that you can trust is yourself. Nobody else. But you need to overcome your apathy. You need to overcome this feeling of dread, this feeling of just feeling like, oh, what's the point? What's the point? When we do the whole what the point, it's because you've done this before, but you've never followed it through, and therefore it's never materialized. So now you find yourself at the beginning again, and you're feeling like, well, is it going to be the same again? Well, the outcome will be the same if you follow the same steps. If you go through the same process without making any changes, of course the outcome is going to be the same. It is hard work. Nothing in life is easy, in case you didn't know. It is hard work. Of course it's hard work. But what you need to do is you need to be brave enough to separate, to identify what is it that you need to separate yourself from. And then you need to set the intentions and you need to do it. It is time to take your life into your own hands. It is time for you to be the rider on the horse, deciding where you're going, how you're going there, what it's all about, and doing it with intention, because it's the only way that you are going to realign and transform your life. You've got 30 days. So just focus. Let's not look at long-term big things. Let's focus on just the next 30 days. And Scorpio, I think if you can find the one thing that is causing you harm, that is causing you discomfort, and you can walk away from that, I think your life will be so much better, happier, more successful, and just give you a sense of overall feeling of bliss. I do hope that the next 30 days are easy. They won't be, but I hope they are. Sending you so much love and so many blessings, Scorpio. As always, from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care.